In this lesson, we're going to go over section 1, which would be 1A and 1B in your 5-folder package. Section 1. In section 1 in the project navigation, you have a project site visit summary that you could fill out, who it was conducted by, the date, the differences that you observed, all the other different things you would need, plan, specs, BOM for this page, and then other things you would need, copies, any permits, outages, any other permits, if this was a project that already started, what's in CONUS, what's local, any other special requirements that you may need. And then if you hit this little button right here, after you filled it all in, you'll get this, which automatically saves to the file that you have open, the folder. You can open it and you will see that you now have a PDF form of the project site visit summary, and all your notes would be in here. So that is the project site visit summary. Go ahead and close that. Close that. Your organization. You can sit here and fill in your organization. So this would be whoever your project manager is, your company chief, who your project supervisor may be, who your crew leader may be, do you have more than one crew leader, who's the safety supervisor for your project, do you need a haz waste representative, who's the QC manager for your battalion, who's the QC specialist, who's the safety officer, who's the safety chief. Most of the time it's the chief. And then does your battalion have a environmental program manager, which is sometimes an officer. Alright, so once you have all those filled in, again, you can click on this print icon. It will save a copy to the folder that you're working in. Hit save, and you would get your organization, your table of organization, project organization. It's already saved. You don't have to do anything. As long as you hit close, it's saved. Now, project planning milestone. We have made some changes in this. So with this, whatever date you put in here will now be locked. So if I said I needed to have this done back on September 2nd and I hit save, I now have locked that date in there. So my date require will never change once I save and lock it. Same thing with my date complete. Once I put a date in here saying I completed this on whatever day, that is now also locked. Your notes can be made at any time and changed at any time. Okay, that you'll just hit save notes, and you can always go back here and change the notes and hit save. Okay, then you can export it to PDF, hit yes, and we will know here that on the 17th of September at 11:55 you created this form. And as you see, underneath is where the remarks are for that subject. So the dates are put in here, and then whatever comments or remarks are underneath that milestone ID. As a regiment, as a group, we want you to always keep your original dates that you put as required, and the date you complete it to be actually when you completed it, and then just put a note, why did it take so long to complete. This will help us with training, manning, and equipped to see what the groups and regiments can help with as far as getting the support you needed or the resources your battalion needs to plan efficiently. All right, you close that. Project scope sheet. Project scope sheet is a major item. This will basically outline the project. You want to know who the customer is, who's the design of record. We can put in here that CNIC is the customer because it's a facilities. The DOR is NAVFAC. Okay, and then who generated the bomb, the date you guys went on site, a brief description of the project, which you can get off of your frag or tasking letter. What drawing number sets are you on? When is the planning actually completed? Specification numbers and dates. Was there permits required? Who the different points of contacts are. The management plan, organization responsibilities, and then break down your plans, because they already are broke down in the civil, site work, architectural, structural, mechanical, and electrical. Put what those scopes are in each one of these sections, so we know, or you guys know, what your description of work is for each one of these sections. Are you putting in the mechanical, or are you just putting in plumbing, and a contractor is doing AC work? How much structural and architectural work is there? You know, be a brief description, but fill in each one for each discipline. And again, you hit this little icon, it will pop up, and you can print and save it. It saves automatically, but you can also print it. So I'm going to close that. Your turnover memorandum has 5 sheets. You can fill this out, or the next battalion can fill it out if you are turning over a project, and you can go through each sheet. As you can see, it has some the numbers in here already based off of the planning. This is not actual. This is the actual that will be done when you had those cash sheets open. Your different descriptions. Did you inventory it? Do you need to inventory it? Was it NA because it wasn't there? Same thing with sheet 4. All this is in there. You can type in here the numbers that you get from your PMSR. And then the kit inventories. There's all these different kits. The whole TOA is here, but do you need the whole TOA? No. But you will just fill in what you need. Alright, and then it has a spot for the project supervisor and the project supervisor relieving. Okay, and then again you hit export to PDF. It will export it to PDF, and it will be in the form that you need. Yes, it lists every toolkit, but it will, once you fill it in, it will show you what toolkits you're using and which ones you're not. And then you would sign down here at the bottom. All right. Close this. Pre-construction conference. This is the best thing to do after your crew has been assigned, is have a pre-conference before your project starts with the engineers, with the group representation, your command operations and QC staff as well, just to get a feel for the project and see where everybody's at and how we're going to lead the project. So with that, you can have this done. It is recommended that you guys do a pre-construction conference for every project. For every project. It's part of the milestone sheets. It's 3 pages long. You can even print it out and fill all this information in later. Print it out, bring it to the meeting, fill it out, and come back and put it all in, so you have an electronic saved copy of the pre-construction. All right, close this. BOD, the BOD letter, you can come in here, create it. Wet enclosures, other personnel units, whoever's there, other descriptions for discrepancies. Is there any money left for that? And this will give you the total amount for contracts and the total man days that was completed. And then title location of whoever's signing the BOD letter. So go ahead and close that. And then in reports, we have the pre-final inspection request and checklist. So we'll open that. And we'll look at that real quick. Oh, that becomes an Excel sheet. So
this is a test of documentation system. This is only a test.
all right, now getting back to the pre-final inspection sheet. So this inspection sheet you can take with you to the project. As a project supervisor, you should be going through this and initialing everything if it's done and completed. You have this done. It's basically like a pre-final for the BOD to get this checklist finished, to make sure the site's clean, all the finishes are done. You can manipulate this if you need to add different finishes, different doors, windows, things of that nature. But this is all taken out of the NTRP. Your QC supervisor or manager will also sign it as well. And then that is going to conclude section 1 in CPM of what reports that you can get, what reports are generated in section 1. Okay, this is now part 2 of the scheduling and resourcing in Microsoft projects. So in part 1, we went over how to set up our calendar, our time scale, and made sure that our options and settings were all correct. So now there are a few ways you can do the networking. The first way that you can network is through the task. Make sure you're on task, go to Gantt chart, network diagram. Now you can do it this way, where you have all of your cache sheets in one single line, as you can see. So for this, you would have to go and select your move in, and then what would be after move in, your sediment fence. So you would take this sediment fence, drag it to the bottom here. As you see here, you have to select the one you want as the primary first. So go ahead back. We want this to be in front of sediment fence. So now you see sediment fence has moved down, and now it is connected to move in. Now you can do the next one by selecting wall A, which is what we would do next. Now, as I remember, I told you this would happen, correct? So you always got to make sure you select the sediment fence, and then where do you want it to fall in line. All right, and then you could do this all the way through. Where it starts getting tricky is when now you have to keep coming back here to find whatever cache sheet you want next. Okay, and it can get pretty long at first. So that's one way. All right, is linking them. Now if you need to unlink them, like say this one I want to unlink, you could just come over here to the key, to the network diagram, all right, you stay on the task, and you can unlink the tasks right here, and that will take it back. Okay, that's how you would unlink it, is just using the unlink tasks button. Now let's say you had two you want to link. You can highlight it, come over here, highlight the other one by pushing shift, and you can say link, but it will do a link like that. So you would have to bring it over and show where you really want it linked. Okay, so you would take that and that, unlink it, and there you have it. Okay, that is how you would do it through the network view. Now if you come here to task and you go back to Gantt view, all right, you see it here how we have it up and down. Okay, you can come here and select the predecessors you want, and you can put in all the predecessors that you want. Or the other way, the way I like to do it, is I come to view, I go to group by active and inactive, I hit sort by start date, and now what happens is this that I already connected will come down here and continue on. If you don't want to do that, you can keep it in the other view by just going no group, and it will take you back to the original view. All right, but as you can see here, you're going to start your precedence diagram and continue on with it. By just saying, all right, so we know wall layout, so our next is we want to preform work, prefab some wall work. So we can do number 5. Now, what I'm putting as a number 5, 3, or 7, that is the ID number here on the left side. It is not the CAS code. Okay, in Microsoft Projects, it uses the line ID to do the predecessors and successors. If you want to see your successors, okay, you can come over, come to this new column, hit the pull down. You can type in an S in that field, and you can come down here to successors, and it will show you your successors. If you want to put them both together, you just got to move it in front, move it. There you go. And then you can see your predecessors and successors. All right. So that's how you would do it to the Gantt view. You can either type it, or if you have the newer version of Microsoft Projects, you can come in here and find the next one. So we did prefab wall formwork, wall A formwork. So you can come in here, you can do this pull down, and it will give you the list of everything, of all your CAS sheets with their proper IDs, line IDs, and you can click which ones you want. So we will do this and excavate. Right, say we want those two to be before we do formwork removal. If we don't want them, we just highlight, delete it. All right, and we can say we want them to be successors of something else. So I could come in here and click on layout, right, prefab, and come down here, clear grub, clear, and excavate. Right, so I can get that, hit enter, or just click in, and it will give me those as a successor, and then in those cells the predecessor will show up for them. All right, now remember, the other way you can do it is you can come in here and you can come here to predecessors, and you can do again the ID, right? Oh, sorry, it's a number. Let's say I want that to be right. It will automatically say what it is. Okay, if you want to delete it, you just highlight, you just take it, hit delete, backspace, whatever, and it will take it away. Hit OK. Now let's say I want to do the excavation, right? But at the same time, I want the successor to be backfill and compact. Well, this is a long footer. This project, each section is about 400 feet long of footer that they're excavating. Well, I don't want to keep a 400-foot hole open the whole time. So I want to backfill and compact as I'm going. So the way you can do that is you can get backfill and compact to also be predecessors number 5. Okay, click on it. You can either do a lag. The lag is for working days only. So let's say you want a 7-day break. So you want it to lag 7 days so you can have that break test done before you remove forms. It would be a 5-day lag depending on when it is, or a 6-day, because it will not include Saturday and Sunday. So if you put 7 in here, it's going to count it as 7 work days, not the weekends. So always keep in mind, if there's a weekend, then just subtract the weekends or holidays, and that's how much lag you have. But let's say I want this to be a successor, and I want clear and grub to be a successor, right? So 56. Well, I don't really need building layout, okay? So I take building layout, but I want to keep excavate wall A as a predecessor, but I don't want it to wait until the end of it to start. Well, you have 4 different types of starts. You have finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, or start to finish. So we can say this is going to do a start at the same time, but I want it to lag for 2 days before it starts. Okay, now I hit OK, and what you'll see here is it's connected to start, but it won't start until 2 days later. So that's another way that you can do with the predecessors and successors. All right, so you would go ahead and fill all those out in the file. I am going to go here, take this out of the way for a minute. Copy. All right, so as you can see, I just went offline for a minute and filled in the rest of the successors and, well, predecessors. I got rid of successors. Okay, you may see here that I added constraint dates. Your constraint dates want to be NA except for your move-in. Move-in is the only one that will have a constraint date. Everything else will not. You can even take the constraint date out of move-in, but what it's going to do is going to take you back to the original dates or whatever you started. So if I'm moving a project or moving something, I always could put the constraint date, and this little icon is going to pop up. I say keep constraint. This task will start no earlier than the 20th, or I can remove the constraint so the project can schedule this task. If I did that, it takes it back to its own, so I don't want to do that. Whoops, I don't want to do that either. All right, so now we have our constraint date, which is fine. I can get rid of this, hide column, and that's how you would work on your predecessors, your network diagram, your Gantt chart view to start getting your barcodes. Okay, like I said, after I did all that, I want to go to active, inactive. I could do sort by start date, and then I can start seeing my precedence diagram. All right. Part 3, we will start going over the resources and how you can add resources, take resources away from different activities. This is part 3 of scheduling and resource your project in Microsoft Projects. Before we move on to the resources, there's one more way that you can have a predecessor and successor done in this view. If you click on the first, let's say we want to click on place sediment fence and we wanted to link it to prefab RST wall. You would hold the shift down and select it. Whoops, sorry. Hit control and select it. And if you're under task, you can go to link and it will say the tasks are linked as well on that way. It's always going to be the first one selected will be the successor or predecessor of the second one selected. The second one will be its successor. Let me say that again. Clicking the first one and then clicking the second one and hitting link will make the second one the successor to the first click. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and move on to our resources, which is our crew members. As you can see, I already have a bunch of resources in because those came from when we were doing our planning in CPM and we were putting our crew together, and now let's say some changes happen. Alright, there's multiple ways to add crew or resources to an activity. The first way is you just click on the drop arrow. After you click on the activity, you hit the drop arrow and you can check all the people you want for the project. Okay, if you don't want them on the project, you uncheck it. You're going to get this little warning that comes up here, and it's going to say, do you want to increase the duration but keep the same amount of work? Most of the time that's what you want to do. If you decrease the amount of work but keep the same duration, you could lose man hours. So always increase the duration because your work hasn't changed. It just means you're doing it with less people. We don't ever use the increase the hours resources per day but keep the same duration and work. That's a function that we don't really use, so we only concentrate on the top two. So we're going to just keep it increase. We hit that and the little warning goes away. Now we'll get the same thing if we add somebody. Okay, we got the same one. Now it tells you to reduce the duration but keep the same amount of work, or increase the amount of work but keep the same duration. So you always want to reduce, because if you're adding more personnel, you're going to reduce the duration. There may be times that you have to increase the amount of work, but most of the time we're going to end up reducing how long it takes. Okay, so that's one way to do resources. Another way is you can double click on the cast sheet, come here to resources, and you can do the drop down here and pick more personnel. Okay, so if you click on builder 5, all right, we don't really worry about it. We just say 100% automatically comes up. All right, and we go, and now we have this over here. Okay, now it's going to be at the task name, which is your cast sheet, and that's when you're going to have to do the same thing. Do you want to reduce it, increase it? All right, so we'll just say reduce. We'll double click again to delete them. You select them and then just hit backspace and then click off, and that person's gone. You hit OK. Your little warning comes back again, and it says increase duration but keep the same amount of work. Yes. Alright, so that's how you add resources and remove resources from an activity. Now, when we go to Resource tab up here at the top, you can also assign resources, and this also will let you do it through the activity. So it's the third way of doing it, and this one just lists everybody where all you have to do is hit a check mark next to them, say assign, and a check mark will come back. You'll get that warning and so forth. But we don't want this person, so you just remove them. Okay, the warning will still stay there until you click off. Alright, so that's another way to assign resources. Now, when we go to our resource sheet, click down resource, go to resource sheet. This is where you can add and take resources away from your project. So let's say I want to get rid of steelworker number 7. I just highlight them, hit delete, they're gone. Now if I want to put somebody else back, I spell it just like it is here. So if I want to put another equipment operator, let's say EQ, and then I still have to give it a number, right? So it's a space and then a number. Alright, and then everything else fills in. Then you can go ahead and assign this worker. So we just went over how to add a resource on the resource page and take a resource away. This makes it easier, so you don't have to go back into CPM, go back to your crew sheet, add somebody, and then come back and do it all over. You just add them right here with no problem. Okay, so after that, then we can come in, go back to the Gantt chart, and you can start putting them in where they need to be. So let's say we want another builder because we got another backhoe. So we're going to go here to excavate, and we're going to drop that other operator in, and then yes, we want to reduce it. Okay, so that's a way you can do it. So we just went over how to add, remove resources, and another way of linking the cache sheets together. Now we're going to get into how we get rid of these red men, as we call them, or burning red men. Okay. What this means is we have over allocated our personnel. So we're going to come here to resources. We're still in the resource tab. We click down, we go to resource usage now, and as you will see, everywhere that's red means they're over allocated by the 8 hours. So we need to get this down to 8 hours. Okay, so what you'll do is, if you see here, you have a 8 and a 5.11, right? Well, let's say we don't want builder 1 working on the prefab forms the same time that they're placing concrete for wall A or the footers. Okay, so what we can do is do not delete. Okay, if you delete, it just brings it over. All right, if you delete this, and I'll show you, it brings it over. Okay, you don't want to do that. If you don't want them to be assigned this day, you just put a 0. You delete the 8 and put a 0, and that's like a placeholder. And then you can increase this to 8. Okay, and then that's how you would get rid of the over allocation up here at the top. This red will tell you that you're putting more man hours than work you have on it. So this one normally, because I know what this placement is, they said they want to do it in 6 hours. Okay, and then they want to do 2 hours here. That will take care of the red men. So same thing, you would clear out all these red men for all the over allocations. All right, you can sit here and scroll and scroll and scroll, or another way to find out over allocations is you come right here to next over allocation and click on that, and it will bring you to the next over allocation and so forth. Okay, you got to clear that out for everybody, not just builder 1. So everybody that's red, you can collapse them as you get them complete. But as you can see, there's a lot of people that are red, and that normally happens at the beginning of your project. But this is where we would resource our red men. Now we can't just come through here and put 8 across. It's not going to happen. Okay, you can't just do that. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to put 8s. You got to go into each person and actually fix why it says 8. All right, so if I put 4 and 4, and that takes care of that red, and so forth. All right, so once you have all your red men cleared out, you can come back to your Gantt view, and these will all be gone. For this training, I'm not going to sit here and clear out every single one, but it is recommended before you submit to hire that all these red are gone. And what this does, it helps you resource your manning and adjust your man hours. Okay, so that is how you get rid of the red men. Now, after you complete all the red men clearing, you have your date set, your schedule looks good. There's 2 things. One, if you're not finished, but you only have one computer in your command or your department that you could do this, you can put this back in the CPM and pull it out and be right back to where you left off. It won't be baselined at that point still, because you still have work to do. But once you complete all the red men, get rid of them all, you can now go into project, hit set baseline. Yes, you want to baseline the entire project. Hit OK. Sometimes it's going to give you this. All right, now it's baselined. Now, remember, I told you we can't close projects. Projects will close on its own when we import back in. So we import the data back in. You'll see your resources that we added into the Microsoft project, and you could just come through here and say, well, this one's going to be a builder 8, builder 9, because we already have some of these builders in here. Steel worker, and equipment operator. All right, really this should be a 2. They should really match, but it says that I entered the text, and I can't do that. So just let it ride. It will just say wherever this resource is, you'll be assigning these people. Hit continue. So this tells you if you're not complete as a check that you have some people that aren't assigned to your project. So you can go okay, come back in to your project. I know I don't need those personnel, so I can come back here, go to my resource sheet, and I can click on all the ones that I'd added that I know I don't need. So I know these two aren't assigned. So I can come back here, hit delete, it moves up. Come back in here, hit cancel, import unsuccessful. The import will relight. Now you can import. These guys will come back up because it didn't say the name. So we're going to get rid of these personnel because apparently they're mapped, but they're not mapped. So oh, I'm sorry. You have to give them a rank. You have to fill out all the asterisks. That's what it meant by be assigned. You have to assign them a rank. Alright, I'm human as well. So I give them the rank because remember all asterisks have to be assigned. So you have to assign the resource. Hit continue. And now it's going to go through its thing. This will take a couple minutes. And then you'll be able to see that the yellow will turn to green. Alright, so now it imported because now we'll get the import is successful. You hit OK. And now you see what's changed. Projects automatically closes. Your banner went from yellow to green, meaning that it's baselined. Export to Microsoft Project is now up and bold. And as you see, some other information has been brought in. The duration of the project, the crew size now has been adjusted. Number of activities always has been that much. The estimated man days has changed a little bit. And we also now have an end date of March 5th. Okay. That concludes how to work with Microsoft interfacing. If you have any questions, please contact the help desk by going to contact us and send us an email or give us a call. We'll be gladly to help you walk through some steps that you may miss, or use the training guide, the user guide that will help you with this as well.